Hi, I'm Dr. Tamara Hamai. I help impact-driven leaders create more sustainable impact through every transition. I'm answering the question, what is the secret to creating more impact with fewer resources? The answer is a combination of mission, method, and message. In mission, we're talking about what you do and why you do it. A strong mission is deeply embedded in empathizing and understanding the people that you serve, how they view the world, and the transformations that they want to see in their lives, combined with what you as an organization are really good at doing and what really is your role. Your population will tell you how they want and can be served. When you engage a lot with the people that are in the community that you serve, you'll start to see and understand their perspectives on what they think are good and what they think are bad things that are happening in their world. Additionally, you'll start to see all of the strengths that they have, the assets and resources they already are accessing and using, the gaps or things that they wish they had or they don't quite have enough of. And when you start to understand in this really personal level their day-to-day experiences and the perspective they have in the world, it will show you how you can and should serve them. This is very different than the traditional way of thinking about program design, where you look at data, maybe you look at the need from indicators about health, for example, and fill that need with a program or an evidence-based model that comes from somewhere else, and you apply it there. This can work when that model is developed in the same type of context with the same type of people that have the same worldview and same needs. However, most of the time that's not true. So taking time to really deeply listen to and engage with the people that you intend to serve will help you to understand and design a service or program that is going to be deeply relevant for them. Additionally, to make your program or service sustainable for your organization, you need to consider how you as an organization are. What is your identity? What are your values? What are your strengths? What are your capacities and abilities? And what are you really, really good at? These things will show you where you are good at something and it overlaps with the way that the community wants and needs to be served. This overlap, that's where you will find the service or program that you can and should be delivering in order to create more impact. Once you have that service or program identified, then you want to map the journey out for how does someone move from joining your program all the way through to completing the program and into the outcomes that you're aiming to achieve for them. By mapping that out, not only will you understand how and why your program works, but you also will be able to communicate that and justify getting resources from people because you have a really clear story of how you create change. The second part of what you need for sustainable impact is method. Method is how you do what you do. Method is operations, it's team, it is service delivery. This is the nitty-gritty of how you get the work done. In this case, we're talking about a program that's being delivered, and so we need a strong, efficient, and effective method for delivering that service over and over again so that every participant not only experiences the same high-quality service, but has equal likelihood of achieving the desired outcomes and targeted transformation that everything was designed to achieve in the first place. Consistency relies on strong, reliable systems and processes in your organization. If you don't have those things, your service may be inconsistent where some people get really high quality program, some people get less services and less quality, and therefore it's unlikely that everyone's going to have a chance at succeeding and achieving the types of transformations that you're aiming for. Having processes, tools, and systems built into how you operate the back end of your business, things like invoicing and billing and paying people and keeping the lights on, cleaning the office, those sorts of things. All of those processes are things that also need to be handled efficiently and effectively. If you don't have consistent, efficient, and effective delivery of your back end operations, you're going to damage your ability to do your front end service delivery because people are going to not have the infrastructure they need. They're going to be distracted or pulled away for other things, or they're not going to just be able to show up because they're dealing with other fires that they have to put out. A strong method requires that you are able to produce a quantity of service consistently with consistently high quality in order to be effective in achieving the transformations that you're promising for your participants over and over and over again. Additionally, the benefit of having really efficient and solid, consistent processes behind every aspect of your business is that you don't have to spend as much money in order to do the same things. You are able to consistently have processes that if a staff member picks it up, they have the direction, tools, and knowledge in order to be able to implement it. It makes onboarding easier. It makes it easier for staff to do their job well and will improve your staff retention and staff satisfaction. With really strong method, you're going to be delivering consistently high quality services. And therefore, because you have a strong mission, you're going to be achieving more impact because those services are already highly aligned and very likely to be successful because they're embedded in what you do well and what the community really, really wants and needs. If you only have these two things, you're going to be an incredible but secret force. The last piece to the secret of creating more sustainable impact is your message. Message is how you talk about what you do and to whom you talk about what you do. These are communication strategies that are really about the audiences that you need to speak to and the objectives that you have for those audiences. If you have a new program, this might be getting initial participants in your program and getting initial funding to pay for the program. Those are two different audiences that you have two different objectives for. Once you identify your audiences, for each audience, you want to understand how they naturally communicate and where they already show up. For example, if you want to communicate with parents, where do parents hang out? There's a lot of places they hang out, but they hang out for extended periods of time at the library when they have young children. They have short periods of time when they go to the grocery store. They also connect with other services that are necessary, such as their pediatrician's office or the birthing center where they're giving birth to their baby. So thinking first about where they're showing up, then you can think about how they communicate. Nowadays, most people are communicating on their mobile phones, and they're doing it with text messages or with WhatsApp or with another messaging application, and they're also on social media. And on social media, depending on their age, they may be on a different platform. If you actually think about who your audience is deeply, then you will start to identify specifically where are they showing up, where are they communicating, and how are they communicating. Your communication with them then should match with their preferences and styles. This is different than the traditional way of thinking about communications because many nonprofits and organizations communicate in the way that they are comfortable with and know how to do. For example, email. Email is great for reaching people that know that you are communicating with them there. However, many people who are not in office settings or who are in office settings but are in roles that are not so tied to email. For example, they're in Slack or another messaging platform, or they're not using their computer every day, or they're not online all the time. They're not in their email all the time. But they are checking their text messages, they are checking their messaging apps, and they are checking their social media throughout the day. If you're comfortable with email and you're sending them emails, you're probably landing in a sea of email, and they're not really reading it unless they really know and are looking for your message. So if they don't know to be looking for your messages, you have to cater to their preferences. It's also going to make it easier for them to engage with you, like engaging with you, and continue to engage with you. Thinking about parents again, we might have flyers in those different settings that we said that they're in and in the languages that the parents in that area are communicating in. Keeping in mind that many people are not fully literate or they aren't going to read a flyer, you also could be partnering with trusted people that they have relationships with who can communicate with them because they already have that established communication channel with the parent. All of this is just an example of one audience. thinking about how do they communicate, with whom do they communicate, where do they communicate, and how as an organization can we go to them in the way that they already are talking. This sort of customization to the specific audience needs and the specific audience preferences is going to make it much more likely that you're going to reach them and they're going to listen. But then what do you say? This is where your objective comes in. If you are trying to achieve, for example, recruitment into joining the program, then what information will they want to hear and will they need to hear in order to be able to achieve that objective? They're going to want to know how much it costs, what the benefit is for them, why they should spend the time in the program, how to sign up, all of those sorts of logistical steps as well, and potentially have their questions answered and their concerns addressed. Additionally, they might want to hear from people who already have been in the program, who are just like them, who they can trust the message from. If you think about when you design a communication plan or a recruitment plan or a marketing plan, however you want to picture it, your message needs to be aligned with the way people communicate and what they want to hear from you, even if that's not information that you would normally think about. In order to know what those things are, you have to ask. You have to talk, again, to the people that you're serving. So when you have people who are already participating in your programs, you have this great opportunity to understand why they joined the program, how they're experiencing the program, how they can be reached, how they like to communicate, what they want to hear, what questions they wish they had answered, what questions they had answered that were really motivating for them to join the service, etc. Speaking with the people you serve is the best way to design a really strong mission as well as design a really strong message. The same will apply for funders and other audiences. Speak with them to understand where they're coming from, what their expectations are, what their preferences are, and how they're communicating with you and other people in the world. When you have the combination of a strong mission, a strong method, and a strong message, that combines into the sweet spot of sustainable impact. Any one or two of these is not going to be sufficient. A strong method will mean that you're doing good work, but you're spinning your wheels because you don't have an efficient and effective way of delivering those services and operating your organization. If you have a strong mission and a strong method, you're going to be a secret force where nobody knows what you're doing, even though you're making incredible impact. With all three together, that is how you're going to create more impact with fewer resources. So that's how I answer the question, what is the secret to creating more impact with fewer resources? If you liked this video, hit like and subscribe to get more videos about how to create more sustainable impact through every transition. Thanks, and rock on.